That's why I was giving it to you, because I didn't want to use it.
Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is YAHUAH. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching in on the camera, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent, that they
might live. What's
right.
What's a cock?
There he is right there.
Yeah.
That's the only part he come in here for. He take his butt right back to play.
Oh, my boy right there.
Let's talk about where we were leave off last week.
Leviticus 22.
I gotta make sure Sister Pamela came in. I ain't never had nobody text me, you know what I'm saying? More of them, she'd tell me, I'm gonna say, okay, you good? Sister Pamela, if you in, you just let me know. Cause I hold up the whole show for you today. Sister Pamela, the day we came back from Dallas, she sent me a message talking about, you know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, I'm in Dallas.
Yeah, you want me to go get it?
I was like, oh, are you kidding me?
Just
you know what I'm saying? So I had to connect them with the congregation out there. I got to follow up, make sure everything is all right. You know what I'm saying? But apparently the first meeting went well.
Yeah. Who's Sister Pamela?
She reached out. You know what I'm saying? Sister from Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she reached out. Just had a couple quick questions. You know, nothing too much. I was trying to get my car registered. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I can call you. We can kind of chat a little bit because you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here, you know what I'm saying, dealing with this stuff. So, but let's talk about where we went last week. So last week, what did we talk about? Who was at the door? At Daniel? Brother Daniel. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen Brother Daniel this late. I ain't gonna say nothing about it.
You talk about sacrifices.
You talking about sacrifices, huh? What sacrifices?
You can't sacrifice a blemished animal. You can't do that. Got to be perfect.
Okay. What else are we talking about?
Talk about the priest's daughter, if she's married to a stranger, who can eat of the holy things, who can't.
Yeah, remember we were talking about the laws, some laws that apply to the people, and then we talked about some of the laws that apply specifically to the priest.
He's got to have a version of his people.
High priest, remember, high priest, you're a high priest, you can't defile yourself with nobody.
Yeah, no dead body at all.
You got to tuck that thing in. If one of your family members die, you can't even go to their funeral, right? You got to tuck that thing in. That's what it means. See, the Most High God, He'll teach us how we can't have emotions rule us. I went through a class at work. It's called emotional intelligence, and I don't often find classes valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like the classes that people put together, but these classes was actually valuable. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of spoke to the importance of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you naturally, if you natural, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know. When they tell me, I was like, oh, I can bust some book on y'all. But, you know what I'm saying? I can help you out teaching this class. I can bust some book open. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when you're natural, right? The natural man, as the book would call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might react to anything based off of emotions. Because they was explaining how, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your stimulation starts here, then it goes to the center of your brain. Like, this is the order that it goes. So it'll go from here to here. You know what I'm saying? And the center of your brain is what's called the amygdala. You know what I'm saying? They call that the amygdala. You know what I'm saying? And that part of your brain is when you ever heard of fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? It's a response of, like, when you're afraid of something, you have to make a decision. I'm going to fight against it, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to run away from it. You know what I'm saying? They call that the survival instinct. You know what I'm saying? To have an instant reaction on when to fight something and when to run away from it. You know what I'm saying? They're saying the way the brain works. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because you have to make that type of decision, your brain shrinks the part, you know what I'm saying, frontal cortex or whatever it is, I don't know. The front part of your brain that holds all your logic and all that good stuff, all your conscious thoughts and all that. So it's like that part shrinks. You know what I'm saying? They say the reason why it shrinks is because if a lion is jumping out at you, your brain don't really want you to sit there and be like, oh, that's a lion. Look at how long his hair is. You know what I'm saying? Start being logical about the lion because there's potential danger. So you got to make a decision to either fight this lion immediately or run away. So the logical part shrinks, so you ain't got a whole lot of thought, and then the emotional reaction brings it. So it's like fear. What are you going to do with it? Go or that way or whatever, right? So it's like that's the natural reaction. That's what happens first. And after that, you got to kind of think. You have to think through it. So you have to start training your body to not respond immediately to the first instincts. You know what I'm saying? Because our emotions have been triggered and conditioned in such a way to kind of have a fight or flight response to even when it's not necessary. So you have to try to retrain yourself to be like, okay, you know what? Give myself a beat. What they tell you is breathe into your nose and breathe out. You know what I'm saying? Anybody about to sit here and do that in real life. You know, get somebody, you know what I'm saying? You know, get somebody jammed up doing that stuff. Now everybody, you try to do that at work. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say something to you in the meeting to make you upset and you just, did that solve anything? Now everybody looking at, oh yeah, he mad. You know what I'm saying? You know, that thing don't solve. Like some of the advice they get, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know what y'all talking about. But at the end of the day, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to make sure that you think and think through. And that's what the book have us do. We can't react to our emotions. The book would call it spirits, right? We can't sit here and we can't let spirits just rule us. That's what emotions are, right? Whether you sad, you mad, you happy, even happy, right? Happy, you angry, or you got remorse, right? Those are like the 5 basic emotions that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And you got that. You kind of got to work through that stuff, right? So I say all that to say the priest, the book is saying for the priest, you have to tuck all those in, right? You feeling remorse, or you feeling sad, anguish, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody died in your family, you know what I'm saying? Your wife, your husband, you know, I'm all right, I guess not husband, but your wife, your mom, dad, you know what I'm saying? You gotta tuck that you just gotta tuck it in. And you gotta keep working. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we gotta think about, and you have to understand that's something that the Most High God put in front of the high priest. A man just like one of us, just happened to be born in a certain family. He ain't got no special superpowers. He ain't got nothing, ain't nothing different about him and us. The only thing different is he comes from a certain lineage. His mom and daddy is a certain person. Right? When you put it in that perspective, that means, oh, this could be required of any of us. And he's the representation of who we are. Right? Or who we need to be. So we look at it after that, we ended off at Leviticus chapter 22 is where we ended off. I know y'all over there looking for something. Y'all looking for where we at. We about to be on Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23 is where we about to go. Right? I thought I cussed. I was like, ooh, look at that. That was me. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Let's see what the book say.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, and saying unto them,
Why you back there sounding like you darn asleep?
who, me?
Yeah, but the Lord spake unto Moses saying,
I thought that's how I always sound.
no, you know what I'm saying? Get a little enthusiastic talking. You know what I'm saying?
Concerning the feast of
Yeah, there we go. You know what I'm saying? We awaken here.
which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts.
Right? So he's talking about feast. When it says feast, what is it actually saying if we pull it from the Hebrew and we translated it more appropriately? It's saying appointed times, right? So these are the appointed times that we're about to be talking about. When you think of appointed times, it's a cool way of saying, or I shouldn't say it's a cool way of saying, a different way, the way we would reckon that in the culture that we live in now typically would be holiday, right? So what we're about to be talking about is what we would consider holiday here in America, right? There's multiple holidays that the book is going to talk about. Now, for all the Christians, you probably have never heard of, for your Bible-believing butt. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I read the Bible front and back, but you probably never heard of these quote-unquote holidays, right? And the reason is just because as Christians, what we've been raised in the Christian church based off of tradition. And many times you have the Christian churches that haven't been taught the Bible themselves thoroughly, or although they've been taught or they have had an opportunity to learn, they decide to stick with a tradition. And so those traditions get passed down, and unfortunately, there's no room after you have a lot of those traditions. There's no room for the rights that the Most High God has given us. There's no room for the celebrations that the Most High God has given us. So we're gonna walk through some of these appointed times and make sure that we understand them and we can discuss them. So this is Leviticus chapter 23. What verse?
Verse 3.
Verse 3. Let's see what the book says.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work therein.
Holy convocation. What does that mean?
There's a holy gathering, right?
It's a holy gathering, like a sacred assembly, right? So assembly would be the word. Another word for assembly would be what? How it
Congregation, church.
Church, right? That's the way they would use assembly, right? So if a Christian were to translate, you know what I'm saying, the Old Testament into Christianese, they would translate assembly or holy convocation into church, right? So it's a time for us to come together, right, in the name of Yahuwah. Now, not every year do we do this right? This year we will. All right, we're going to talk about all the ones that are holy convocations, right? All the days that are holy convocations, and we're going to make sure that we get together on those days, right? Come, you know what I'm saying, whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we get together and we talk, we have a study, right? We did it. We used to do it way back in the day. We made sure we got it, but then we kind of stopped. So now we're going to get back to it. The Sabbath is what's discussed first. So you got the Sabbath every weekend. This is a holy convocation. This is a sacred assembly. In other words, people of the Messiah come together and we discuss the Messiah. We set ourselves apart in that time, right? So the Sabbath is an appointed time. That's the seventh day of the week, what we would reckon is Saturday. Technically, the commandment is about Sabbath day. Now we start to keep it during the night, right? So that's why we come together, you know what I'm saying, the evening before the Sabbath day, you know what I'm saying? So we keep it in the night, but technically the commandment is for Sabbath day, right? So let's see, keep going.
It is the Sabbath of the Lord in your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month.
So now in the 14th day of the of the first month at even, right? It's very important to understand what it's saying. In the 14th day of the first month at even. Hold we got, go back to Genesis chapter 1. Because we have to understand what we now is talking about. We're talking about how the Most High God is seeing a calendar, because he's talking to us about calendar events. He's saying 14th day of the first month, right? He's talking about a calendar at this point. So now we need to know, okay, when you got a calendar, when's the day start, when's the day end? We need to know all that now. We need to know exactly what a day is, right? And a lot of this we get right out of Genesis. It's Genesis chapter 1, start me off at verse 1.
In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth.
Sometimes you can't make this stuff you can't make it too complicated. You just got to simplify it, right? And let's get right to it. Let's see.
And the earth was without form and void.
Okay, so it was without form and it was void.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
And it was darkness, and it was on the face of, so it wasn't no light. Okay, let's see.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water.
Okay.
And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Okay, now there's light. Okay, what else?
And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay, so now we got some definitions. We got a definition for night. Night is equal to what? Darkness.
Darkness. We got a definition for day. Day is equal to what? Light. Right? So definition for day is light. Now we know what day is. Right? Keep going.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Whoa. The evening and the morning were what?
The first day.
Wait a minute. So evening is what?
Dark.
Morning is what?
Day.
But evening plus morning equal what?
1 day.
So how many definitions did they have?
1.
1?
3.
3?
2.
2.
No, 3.
2, right? Light equals what?
Day.
Day. That's one definition, right? When you have the light part of a day, that's day, right?
Evening in the morning equals
You wake up in the morning, you're going to say, I'm going to get my what started,
my day.
right? It's early in the morning, it's still dark outside, you know what I'm saying? And the kids want to go outside. You say, not until the daytime. Right? You can be outside as long as the daylight is out there, but guess what? You be your butt back here before the street lights come on. Street lights come on when?
In the evening.
When there's no more daylight. Right? So that's all day. It's no different from how we look at it today. Right? It's daytime. Daytime, right? Then we might say this is the calendar day. Well, those are the same two definitions that the Most High God just gave us just now. He said, in the day, you got the light. Then on top of that, evening and the morning, the cycle of the evening and the morning is also 1 day. Right? So that's a calendar day. So now, according to Yahuwah, we have two definitions for day. Day could be daylight. Day could also be the calendar day, which is the cycle of a full 24-hour day, roughly a 24-hour day. Right? And that's what we need to understand. We need to be able to understand that and separate the two. Now, once we know the definitions of the day, what else do we notice here? What have we noticed so far about a day?
The evening is first.
The evening comes first, right? If you look at America, when does a day start? Calendar day start?
Midnight.
Midnight, right? Starts 12. Technically, that's the start of a day. Does that feel like a start of a day to any of us?
No.
No. It still seems like night.
Right? It come out. You stay up until midnight. Don't even realize it. It's 12:01. How many of it can be like, man, we on the phone? I'll just talk to you tomorrow. Technically, it's not tomorrow, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it still feel like tomorrow, huh?
Because you didn't go to sleep and wake up.
Because technically, the day starts at 12. But when does your day really start?
8.
When the day starts, right? When the daylight comes out. That's when the day really starts, right? So that's what we deal with here. You'll see in the Bible, you'll see a reference to the day, right? And it's even more so than what we have now. Now we got cell phones and lights everywhere, and we got 24-hour jobs and all types of stuff in Las Vegas, right? But you have to imagine in our culture back in our day, when we're talking about the times of the book, a lot of that wouldn't have been the case. The time that people work would have been when the daylight is out. Time that people sleep is during the evening, right? It wasn't a whole bunch of street lights. It wasn't a whole bunch, so it's not a whole bunch of people outside moving around. We had no cars. There wasn't no safe travels. You know what I'm saying? And it's night. I can't see nothing out there. It could be all types of animals. It could be I'm chilling where I can see. This is when I get my rest. When I wake up, I'm hitting the crops immediately. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little dark outside when I start at it, but that's when I'm hitting the crops. So our day started with the daylight, right? Now our days don't necessarily have to start with daylight, because guess what? I got a job and I might be on the phone and I'm servicing somebody all the way across the world. So I might got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make sure I'm there in time for the people in the East Coast when they wake up, right? That wasn't the case back then, right? People were dealing with their own. They didn't have a concept of time zones and none of that, because we dealt with the people that were right next to us, right? So everything was organized for the most part. There's exceptions, but everything was organized for the most part to begin your day with the daylight, right? So when you see the references in the Bible to talk about on this day and do it on this day. The thought, honestly, is talking about the daylight portion of the day. It don't make no sense to talk a whole lot about the evening portion of the day because that was a time that was designated for rest and sleep. Okay? So now, we got that out of the way. We understand where the day start, right? The book says start where?
Evening in the morning.
And then what?
With the first day.
Okay. Jump on down to a couple verses later. Let me hear about the second day.
God said, let the firmament in the midst of the waters, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Mm-hmm. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Mm-hmm. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
So again, evening, morning, day 2. Okay, let's keep going.
And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth...
Your wife got me self-conscious about drinking water. I want you to know that.
And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
So again, evening, morning, day 3, right? Keep going. I just want to see if we can figure something out here. So how many days has there been so far?
3.
There's been 3 days so far based off of what we reading, right? Keep going.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
So now lights were put into heaven. Did it say just heaven or the firmament of heaven?
In the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night.
Light was put into the firmament of heaven. What does firmament mean?
Like a space.
Right. Space. Who's ever heard of outer space? Right? So now firmament means space. So another way to say this is light was put in the space of the skies, or the space of the place above us. Right? Keep going. What lights are up there? Who can name some lights that's out in space? Go ahead.
Shooting stars, planets, some planets glow.
You right. Anything else?
What's it called? I think it's called an aurora, like where like the lights, it's just like beaming lights. Can't remember what it's called.
Me either, but you're probably right. What else is out there?
The sun.
The sun, right? What else?
Doesn't the moon like the moon?
The moon, right? So the 2 biggest lights out there are what? The sun and the moon. What's bigger?
The sun.
So which one is better?
Sun. If you touch the sun, you will die.
How you know?
I seen a video on it. Oh, when they die.
So you touch the sun, you probably will die. What else?
If you get close enough. And you get. Well, this really doesn't matter, but you will get a lot of third-degree burns.
Okay. On top of many other things, I'm sure. What else you got? What you got? Which one is better, sun or moon?
Sun. The sun helps all the other planets.
Right, because the sun is what causes the light, right? All the other planets absorb the light and reflect it, right? So they say, that's what they say.
And Earth that we're in right now, sun is lighting us up with all this electricity.
Okay.
Sun,
Electricity, I mean, it's all right. You getting there. What happened?
Barely, it doesn't put as much light on. But the sun does more light than the moon. Because the sun, the sun does all.
So if one was greater and one was lesser, which one would be greater?
The sun.
Which one would be lesser?
The moon.
Okay, let's listen to it.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
Right? So now we got some definitions. Day, He said, this one rules the day. Is it talking about calendar day or is it talking about the daylight day?
Daylight day.
So when this usage of the word day, he said, the sun, the greater light, right, is what he said. The greater light rules the day. We recognize that to be the sun. And then the lesser light we recognize to be the moon rules the night. Right? And then what else?
And God set them in a firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
So now, when the moon came, did that reset the days?
No.
When the sun came, did it reset the days?
No.
We talked about day 1, we talked about day 2, we talked about day 3. Then, all of a sudden, the sun was created and the moon was created. Book told us that happened on day 4. Now let's just keep reading and let's see if the next day is day 1. I know it sounds silly to a lot of people watching, but there's some Hebrews that believe this foolishness.
Yeah, believe what?
They believe that the moon is what determines the starting of a week, or starting of a month rather. And if you start the month, you got to start your day of the week. That's day 1 of your week. So your Sabbath is determined by the moon, is what they believe, right? We just read that the 7th day, right, in Leviticus, it told us the 7th day of the week is the Sabbath. Ain't that what it said?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
So if the 7th day of the week is the Sabbath, we need to figure out how do we count the days of the week. If we count the days of the week based off of the way the Most High God does it, then it's just 1, 2, 3. Don't matter. The sun, the moon, none of that matter. All that matters is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. All that matters is how you reckon the day. You reckon the day by an evening and a morning. That's one day. Now you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. The last day is going to be 7, and you restart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it wouldn't matter if the moon fell out the sky. Guess what? 1, 2, 3. It's an evening and it's a morning. You don't need a moon or the sun to have a day, because those two didn't exist. So if the sun fell out the sky and the moon fell out the sky, there would still be light and darkness as a cycle. And as long as that's the case, then that's how you reckon your evening and the morning. That's the Most High God said. That ain't me, right? So I struggle with the Hebrew Israelites to say we follow the lunar Sabbath, because I can't find that in the book. They Sabbath be any old day. It'd be Wednesday. They be like, I'm about to keep the Sabbath. I'm looking like, right now? Yeah. I'm like, bro, you early. You early. Like, I thought the Christians were the earliest, because they keep their Sabbath on the first day of the week. You know what I'm saying? Christians get up in there early trying to, they beat us to it every time. I'm like, man, we just got off the Sabbath. No, we starting off right now. Goodness gracious. They told me at work, no, I don't work on Sundays. Do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You do what you want to do. I don't see why. I don't see you do what you want to do. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Because they got the colleges in my school right now, and is it BYU or BYU? I think it's like the whole Catholic, that whole group. They don't play games on Sundays.
Oh no, they don't play that stuff. Yeah, they don't play that stuff. I went through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A one time. I was looking like, y'all got some darn nerve. I ain't never seen the type of Christian establishment. You better open your darn butt up. What's wrong with y'all? Made me darn mad. I was hungry. Even In-N-Out ain't got the nerves to do no foolish shit like that. Shut down all the doors on Sunday. You gonna be a Christian, at least be a darn good Christian and keep your doors open every day. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? Right? So you look at this stuff and you see that's what they kind of confuse this thing. If you take your time, you just go through the scripture, a lot of this stuff it's simplified. It make sense because you taking what the scriptures say as opposed to trying to read in to what you think into the scriptures. It's important to do that. I praise the Most High God for the way that He brought us into it. Because me and T, the thing that we did, we had never really bought in, not in a negative way. It's not like we were skeptical of churches when we were growing up. We had just never got so involved that it became a part of us. You know what I'm saying? The Most High God just, not intentionally or anything in our part, he preserved us because he never let us kind of, just buy into it completely. So it came to a point when we start reading the book, we got to learn from the book as it was written. We didn't go, nobody taught us and told us like, yo, this is what you should think about what you're reading. We just read it and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Did you see this? You know what I'm saying? Yo, did you see that? And we shared it with each other. Then we started having a Bible study. We just sat in a circle. We didn't teach nobody. Ain't nobody teach us. We just say, hey, look, this is what I read last week, and this is what I think about it. What did you notice? Like a nice little Christian Bible study, but imagine a Christian Bible study without the Christian pastor to make everybody feel like they got a good point. You know, Christian Bible study, they'd be, so what do you think about faith? Very good. Yeah, that is faith. You can say some stupid stuff in there. Well, faith to me is when I ride my bike and I have training wheels on it and I don't fall. You know what? Jesus Christ is like training wheels, right? No matter what you say, you're going to be darn right with these darn Christian pastors. Make your butt feel good. You be walking that thing like, goodness, Jesus is great. You know what I'm talking about, feeling good? That's why these white folks don't never leave these darn churches. They making it play with they darn mental and stuff. That stuff is cruel. You can't do that stuff to nobody mind. Tell these people the truth. Give them a chance to tell, like a person should have a chance to look at you and be like, no, I don't like that. I don't rock with God. I appreciate the person that look at me and be like, I couldn't believe in, I just can't serve a God that would allow X and Y to, like, you mean to tell me he wanted us to be slaves in America? I just can't, I just could never serve a God. I can appreciate that because it's like, you know the truth and now you've been able to make a decision that I don't want to serve this God. Now you're going to go right to hell for it, but it doesn't, you at least get to make a decision. Somebody rob you of a decision, make you feel like, oh, well, no, Jesus loves you no matter what you do. They've just robbed you of your opportunity to make a decision. They put this little voodoo on your brain and you think it's all hunky-dory when in reality, you going right to hell. At least I tell a man or a woman, you going to go to hell if you do that. You going right to darn hell if you do that. Now they can look at it, they can decide, do I want to believe that or not? And I gave it to them flat. Who ain't going to want to believe God love you no matter what you do?
You getting all the fans.
You ain't even got no darn choice. You got to believe some crazy stuff like, man, that sound darn good.
I'll take that deal.
Imagine you come from a broken home, messed up home. You struggle with feeling love. But you know it's out there. And they get in your face and they get the whisper, that little whispered Christian voice. Let me tell you, brother, God loves you too. And they squint they darn, God loves you too. I ain't never heard nobody whisper and squint they darn eyes at me. You tell I ain't never met the man and he loved me. My mama and daddy ain't love me and I talk to them all the time. That stuff is voodoo. It mess with your brain. You mess around and the whole time, man, don't even think. The man ain't thinking. Man about to send your butt right to hell because you disobeyed him your whole life and ain't nobody got the sense to tell you the truth. I'd rather y'all hate me. I'd rather y'all hate me and hear the truth of the Most High God than to sit here and y'all love me and y'all go to hell. That's crazy. To me, that's sick. It's just sick to me. It's sick to know the truth and tell somebody a lie about it. This type of truth, that's sick to me. I can't. To me, I don't understand. I'm afraid of pits in my stomach when I think about I might be telling somebody something wrong about the Most High God. Literally, I get pits in my stomach. I don't understand how these people do it, right? But it's important that we look at, man, we got to deal with the truth. We got to let the book speak to us. We can't be flipping it open and be like, oh, well, I really feel like I need something out of Psalms today. That's crazy. You can't. Don't ever text. Y'all do it and y'all going to do it. And I ain't saying I'm mad at y'all for doing it. I'm just going to correct y'all. But when you text me talking about, give me a word today, or give me something because I'm going through X in my life. If there's something in the Bible that can help me go through X, every time I'm going to respond to you the same way. That's not the right way to do it. If you want to start the book, pick somewhere to start and just read it through. I would suggest starting with the gospel, or I would suggest starting at Genesis. Right? It's important that we understand what we're dealing with. The book has to teach us. We can't pick and choose what we want out of the book. That's how you fall into these traditions. These people never read the stuff we talking about, and they've been preaching and teaching on this stuff for years. And they've never read these parts of the Bible. You know why? Because it ain't good for them. For them, it wasn't nothing that they could, it ain't nothing that they already had in their mind that they could reach into the Bible and take out, because that's how they approach the Bible. It's what do I have in my mind? How can I find it, what I have in my mind in the Bible? Okay, and how can I extract that and learn something more about what I already had in my mind? Instead, we need to cover the whole book so we can have new stuff in our mind.
That's kind of arrogant.
It's completely arrogant. You got to have a renewed mind. How you going to have a renewed mind? You still feel, you got the old wineskin. You got old wineskins and you trying to fill it with something new. What's going to happen?
It's going to burst.
Your whole brain don't darn burst. That's why these people going crazy now. What's wrong with you? This book we talking about, you know how powerful this book is? Y'all play at this thing if y'all want to. It ain't going to be me, though. It ain't going to be on my watch. I ain't going to let you do it. Not me sitting here. I'm going to tell you, but you playing with this thing, your butt going to go right to hell. You keep playing. I ain't got a problem telling the person that. That's what the book say. I ain't got no problem telling nobody what the book say.
Everything easy. It's like, I didn't make it up.
Ain't no skin on my darn back.
But I didn't say it.
Hey, look, I would agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Like normal circumstances, I would agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the book say. I got to roll with it. I got that. I asked, listen, I'm going to have an opportunity to ask the man, look, why you got to, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand this too much. I don't know why. I'm going to obey the whole thing now. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess with me now. I'm going to obey it. I'm just saying, why you know what I'm saying? Why that's such, like, Christian denominations. I agree. Look, in any other circumstance, I would agree with y'all Christians. That shouldn't be a sin, a Christian denomination. Yeah, that ain't a big deal. What's a big deal? Now, let me tell you something. I ain't got the wisdom of the Most High God. So I'm going to go ahead and trust his wisdom and be like, man said it's a sin now. You know what I'm saying? Man said you ain't going to make it into the kingdom if you got a denomination. He called it heresies, right? If you deal in factions and sects and not sex. Look at y'all. What's wrong with y'all? Sect.
S-E-C-T.
Goodness gracious. You deal with sex also. That's a whole nother problem. You know what I'm saying? But you dealing with factions and you dealing with denominations. You know what I'm saying? That is a sin according to the book. He said you will not enter into the kingdom. Right? Now, me personally, without reading that, what's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? You call yourself a darn Lutheran and call yourself a darn Baptist. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about that stuff. Who cares? As long as we all, this is what the Christians say. At least we all serve the same Jesus Christ. That makes sense to me until I read the book. Once I read the book, I'm like, I don't care how big of a deal it is or ain't.
Technically, you don't.
Yeah, you don't know what you're serving. You know why you don't know what you're serving? Because the book ain't say it. It's that simple. We just got to simplify it, right? Then we can stay away from lunar Sabbath, right? Let's see. Let's just see. We on day 4, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the Hebrew Israelites is right, we're going to keep reading, and somehow the moon came out, so the next day we're going to read about, going to start back over at day 1. If the Hebrew Israelites is right. If the Most High God is right, it's going to be day 5, just like regular arithmetic would tell us, right? Let's see.
And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth, and the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. In the evening and the morning were the 5th day.
Or the what day?
5th day.
Okay, so now that proves once and for all that the moon has no bearing on the count of a day, right? So if we follow this count, we're going to get all the way to Genesis chapter 2. We don't have to get it, but the beginning of Genesis chapter 2 tells us what day.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work, which he had made. So
now the Most High God rested on the 7th day. So now when we look at the Sabbath that's told to us, let's go back to Leviticus chapter 23. When we look at the Sabbath that's given to us in Leviticus chapter 23, it is based off of that week that the Most High God created the world and rested on the seventh day, which is why we are to rest on the seventh day, right? It's important that we understand that history and understand how that works. So now we know we have a day. We know the definitions of the day. It can reckon the daylight, right? Or daytime of the day. And also the calendar day is what we would call it, right? The cycle of evening and morning, right? That is also a day. So we'll consider it a calendar day, right? So now we look at months. There's no definition specifically in the book around months, right? So what we've done here with the Tadayah family, we come up with a calendar, right? In no way are we saying that this calendar is the exact calendar that the Hebrews used in ancient times and none of that. The calendar, I'll explain very, very briefly how we came up with the calendar and why we use this calendar. The calendar is based off of 7-week cycles, right? When we look at the book never tells us about a month, right? And the definition of a month, how long a month have to be or anything. But in Revelations, when we see in Revelations, it gives us a few things. It'll say, I forget how many, what is it? Is it, I mean, is it 100? I think it's 100 something months. It works out to be 3.5 years. How many months is that? If you can look at it 30 days.
If you look at it 30 days?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta cheat.
Yeah, go ahead and do that math. Well, I guess we could just find it in the book too. But yeah, while he's looking at it, you know what I'm saying? It gives us a number of months. And when you break down those months and multiply it by 30, right, it gives you 3.5 years. In the book, in other places in Revelations, it actually just tell you years and half. I mean, time and half of times. It tell you
42 months. It's 3.5 years.
42 months, right? So we look at 42 months. You know what I'm saying? Then we look at that. If you do that division, 42 months, you know it also is referring to something else in Revelation where it say 3.5 years, and you put those together, and it's the same time period. You like, oh, okay, these are talking about the same time period. 42 months, 3.5 years would mean that each month is 30 days, right? So if we know that the general reference of a month is 30 days, and we have another event in the book that's not completely defined and called out, it's a appointed time that's not listed here in Leviticus. It's called the new moon, right? New moon, a lot of people say new moon is translated as new moon, but it actually is not truly new moon.
1,260 days.
Right, so 1,260 days, when you divide that by the 42, that's going to give you 30 days. Right? So now you look at new moon. New moon is not really new moon. If you look at the Hebrew word, it's actually saying new what? New what? New month. It's not saying new moon, it's saying new month. So it's translated as new moon, which is why a lot of Hebrews look at it and they say, new moon, the month starts to restart my day count. But that's not correct. New moon is saying new month. The Hebrew word for it is new month, right? So that if we take the new month as an appointed time, which it's listed throughout the book and it's referred to as an appointed time, it never explains to us in the law how we should celebrate the new moon. But in our scripture and in the prophets, it does reference how that we kept the new moon as if it was a appointed time, right? So you take that new moon, then you read some of the books outside of the Bible that give you more context. That's where you kind of get the 7-week cycle from. The idea of the 7-week cycle is something that Enoch refers to, and it's something that Jesher refers to, right? So you get the 7-week cycle, you get the new moon. The new moon, according to Enoch, is the beginning of a new cycle, right? So you got 3-month quarters, and every beginning of the 3-month quarters, you have a new moon. So when we look at it, we would have the first month would have a new moon. That month would be 31 days. Every other month would be 30 days. And then you get the next set of 3 months, the next quarter, right, which would be the 4th month. That has 31 days, and then 30 days outside of that. So every month there's 4 new moons throughout a year with this reckoning. So that's how we built the calendar, right? So we're going to take a quick look at the calendar, take a quick little gander at it. You can find this on the website if anybody wants to use these calendars. Again, this is not to say that these are the, you know what I'm saying, the most accurate calendar or anything like that. I'm not putting no stance out there. It's just a calendar that we decide to use to stay consistent with how we keep the days, knowing that the Most High God is going to restore us to everything once he returns to us or returns Elijah to us. So this one is going to start the year 3/18. That's in a couple weeks, right? This will be the first day of Abib. All right, so let's grab Abib down here. This is how it's going to look. So on 3/18, that will be the beginning of months. That's what the Most High God told to us in Exodus when we were reading in last month, right? This is the beginning of months for us, right? Then the second day of Abib would be a Sabbath. Then we count all the way down to the 10th day of Abib. This is where we choose a lamb. Where do we read about that?
In Exodus and Leviticus.
Yeah, that was Exodus 12.
Yeah.
Right? That we choose a lamb. Remember, we would choose a lamb for the household, and if the household wasn't enough, then you would share a lamb between households. Right? You choose a lamb. Then on the 13th day, right, according to the Gospels, this is the day before the Passover, is when they kept the Master's Supper. You know what I'm saying? The Christian call it the Lord's Supper, right? So we have that reckoned in here, the Master's Supper. Then the next thing is Passover, and that's what we started to read right now.
At even.
So it said Passover at even on the 14th day.
Which is technically the 15th day.
So that's the end of the 14th day.
And the start.
And that it also starts the 15th day. So we have Passover technically on the 15th day, but it's kind of like we see midnight, right? So think of how you deal with New Year's. New Year's, you stay up all night on New Year's Eve, you know what I'm saying? And then on New Year's Eve, that's when you do your celebrating, but it really crosses you over into New Year's Day, right? So the celebration for New Year's actually begins New Year's Eve, right? And it crosses you over into New Year's Day. Same way with Passover. Passover begins the evening, right? The night, right before the night of the 14th. And then that evening crosses you over into the 15th, the evening of the 15th day, right, of the month. Right? So let's read from there. And we're going to keep the calendar up so that we can kind of follow along with the calendar. Remember, this is the month of Abib. This is not looking at our calendar. It's looking at the reckoning of the Hebrew calendar that we put together.
And the 14th day on the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto the Lord.
Right? So now, when it calls out even specifically, you know that specifically the Most High God is talking about the nighttime. He's talking about the evening time, right? So the 14th day at even, that would end the 14th day, that would begin the 15th day, right? Then he says on the 15th day, he doesn't say anything about even, so now we can assume that he's talking about the daylight time. So in the daylight hours of the 15th day, what's going on?
This is the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
This is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the appointed time of unleavened bread. Hey! Y'all better be quiet down there. Let's go.
7 days you must eat unleavened bread.
Right? So you can see that this is a darker orange, right? So all the appointed times, we put a color to them, but this is a darker orange, right? So this being a darker orange is telling you that this is a holy convocation. No work. Right? So this is just like a Sabbath for us. Keep going.
And the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord 7 days. And the seventh day part of Passover is to offer an offering made by fire. What type of offering is that?
Burnt. That's a burnt offering. Right? Part of Passover is to offer a burnt offering. So now let's have a candid discussion. Are we really keeping Passover?
No.
Boy.
Not at all.
You can't.
Right? So for all my law-keeping Hebrews, you have to first acknowledge that you're not keeping the Passover according to our law, no matter how you do it. So not only is your calendar not right? Ours either. I'm not trying to say, you know what I'm saying, I don't believe ours is right either, right? But not only is our calendars not right, but we also, when we try to keep it and we pull our lamb together, even if we try to choose our lamb on the 10th day, well, we're not sacrificing that lamb. Okay, and let's say even if we decide to sacrifice the lamb against what the law would say, we're not making an offering by fire according to what the law would say.
And you don't have a priest to do it.
And you gotta be the son of Aaron.
That got that. All that got that. No priest, because we don't know who the sons of Aaron is. Therefore, we can't make the sacrifice. Therefore, we're not keeping the Passover. Right? So everything that we do, we're doing it in the order. Right? We're doing it in the spirit
and truth
of the Passover. We're not doing it in we're not actually keeping the law in doing this. We're actually in violation of the law. Right? We are going against the law. Now people find that excusable, the law keeping, you know what I'm saying, Hebrews, they find that excusable because they say, well, we can't do that, which is fine. I'm not going to argue with anybody about it, whether, you know what I'm saying, I'm just telling you that the law don't make an excuse for what you think you can and can't do. The law just say this is what it is. And if you do it, you did it. And if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
Yeah, the law never said, oh, you good if you not in your land and can't do it.
Remember, we talking about the measurement, right? Remember, y'all remember we talked about the measurement? That's all the law is. The law is just saying, hey, are you 42 inches tall? That's all I care about. Can you get on this ride? Yes or no? I ain't got nothing personal against you. I don't want to hear no, the only reason I'm not because I was born with a birth defect, but my legs ain't long, but I'm actually twice the age of the kids that's my size, this, that, and other. But I ain't got nothing to do with that. All I'm saying is you're not tall enough to get on this ride. Nothing against you personally, nothing against your defect. The line is this. You cannot get on this ride. You turn your butt around. Right? You better hobble your butt that way. That's just book. Right? There's no other way around it. That's the role that the book plays, is just to show a measuring stick to show where you measure. Right? So if we look at it and be like, well, no, God took that away from us and we can't. Okay, well, keep following that thought. Why did God take it away from us? Because we didn't measure up. So at the end of the day, Most High God put you in a position where you can't keep the law, and he going to punish you either way for it. So now we got one way out. How's our one way out?
YAHUAH.
That got that. So we look at it like, oh, this is a trap. Yeah, it is a trap. It's a trap to push you right into YAHUAH. Now, what you going to do with the trap? Okay, let's keep going. So let's say on the that's the 15th day. Then what else?
Let's see.
I want y'all to be quiet back there. You good, Mel? Come here. Come sit down.
So aggravating, especially my brother.
If I got to say something to y'all one more time, y'all coming here and sitting down.
And the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. Right. So the first day and the 7th day are holy convocations. They're sacred. Holy convocations mean sacred assemblies. That means we all come together. It's like the Christians are called church. Right. That means we congregate together and we talk about the Most High God. We set ourselves apart to the Most High God on that day. Right? So for us, it would be just like this, studies. Right? Just like we do on the Sabbath nights, right? It would be studies. All right? So that's what we're going to do all this year. And we're going to start it on, what day is that? We're going to start it 4/1, April 1st. That's when we're going to have the first day of unleavened bread, right? That would be no work, so we need to take off that day of work. We're going to be here, you know what I'm saying? We're going to eat good. Passover the night before that, you know what I'm saying? We're going to keep the Passover, you know what I'm saying? The day, that's Friday. Friday, all right.
All right, then the following Thursday, you know what I'm saying? That would be another day. We get together, we have a study. Then we'll be back here Friday night to have our regular Sabbath study, right? That's how we're going to do it. Then that'll conclude the month of Abib for us. You know what I'm saying? At that point, then we'll be moving into the second month. Who remembers the name of the second month?
I do. Nissan?
Ziph.
Ziph?
Ziph is the second month. So let's go to the larger calendar now that we got through that. And let's just look at, oh, got the wrong one. Here we go. Let's just look at the larger calendar here. All right. So these are the names of the Hebrew month that we can pull from the book. You have Abib, Ziph, Sivan, the fourth month, which you can't find a name that comes from Hebrews in the book. The fifth month, again, can't find a name that comes from Hebrews in the book. Elul, Ethanim, Bul, Kislu. Then we got another 3 months here. Tebeth, Sabat, and Adar. Right? So right now, we're in the month of Adar. If I scroll up here.
What's the month? Nisan.
Nisan is what they, you know what I'm saying, what they call, that's what they call Abib. So this is where we are right now. All right, so we're on the 25th day. Actually, you know what I'm saying, we moving into, in terms of calendar day, we moving into the 26th day of Abib. Of Adar right now. All right, 26th day of Adar. So we only got one more week left of the year. The next week, it will be, for us, the beginning of months, right? I don't want to say new year because that ain't what the book say. The book say beginning of months, all right? So it'll be the beginning of months for us next week. I don't know if we're going to get together for that, but we'll be together already, right? We'll already be together because the end of that day lands on our Sabbath, our Friday. You know what I'm saying? So we'll already be together and we can kind of talk through that and talk through what that means and all that. But yeah, so that's all our months. So let's keep going. Let's go talk about all the days.
And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, speaking unto the children of Israel, and saying to them, when you be come into the land which I give unto you, and you shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
All right. So then, let's go back to Abib here. And so it's saying on the morrow after the Sabbath. So when you're looking, you have the 15th day, and then the 15th day, after that, you have the Sabbath, right? So the 15th day itself is like a Sabbath, and then you have the actual Sabbath, and then it says the morrow after that Sabbath. Well, I'm trying to teach, baby girl. And the morrow, can I teach, please? And the morrow after that Sabbath is going to be the day called the first fruit sheaf waving. Yeah. Right, so that's going to be the first fruit sheaf waving. That's going to be on a Sunday. The Sunday after the first day of unleavened bread, right here. This one's the first fruit sheaf waving. Right? So what do you keep doing? What do you do on that day?
You shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And you shall offer that day, when you wave the sheaf, a he lamb without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2 tenth deals of fine flour mixed with oil, and an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears unto the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
All right. So now from there, you count 7 Sabbaths, right? So now you're on this day, and now you got to start counting Sabbaths from here. This will be the first Sabbath that you count, right? So this one is the 23rd day of Abib. Let's go to the full year. And we're looking at the 23rd day of Abib, that would be 1 Sabbath. The 30th of Abib would be 2 Sabbaths. Then you move over into Ziph. The 7th day of Ziph would be 3, 4, 5, 6. How many we counting?
7.
7, right? So we counted 7 Sabbaths. Let's see what the book say now.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days.
Right? So he said then the morrow after, so that means the day after, right? That's going to put us right here. Sivan 6. Right? So the day after the 7th Sabbath will put us on May 23rd. Right? This is going to be another appointed time for us. Right? What appointed time is this? Let's see. He said you count 50 days.
And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord.
Right? So these are sacrifices. Again, this would have to go to who?
The priest.
The sons of Aaron. It'd have to go to the priest. Right? So anybody who's trying to keep this, technically we're not keeping it. We can keep the spirit of it. We can keep the order. Right? But technically we're not keeping it according to the law. Right? Keep going.
And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. And they shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offering. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be a holy convocation unto you.
A what?
Holy convocation unto you.
So this lands on a Sunday, right? This Sunday is a holy convocation, right? That means no work should be done, and we come together and we set ourselves apart for the Most High God, right? So it'll be, you know what I'm saying, just like we are today, getting together, talking about the Most High God, right? So it's a holy convocation. What else we got? It's the Feast of Weeks is what we call it, right? It's also called Feast of Harvest, and Pentecost is what it's called in the New Testament, right? It's that comes from the Greek rendering of 50 days, right? Any other name for it? I think that's it. First fruit is also called first fruit, right? So the Feast of Harvest, Feast of Weeks, first fruit, and Pentecost are the 4 names you can find for this one. All referring to the exact same day. It's just a different way of calling this day.
You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not make clean riddance of the corners of your field. When you reap, neither shall you gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month and the first day of the month,
all right,
shall
so now
you have a Sabbath.
Now we're dealing with the 7th month. All right. So if we look at it, after Elul, which is the 6th month, you have Ethanim. All right. So we have no holidays in all these months. In Ethanim, you have the first day of the month. Right. We talked about the first day of the month when it is a month that begins a quarter. We talked about that also being a what?
New moon.
A new moon, what they call new moon, but a new month, right? And that was also appointed time for us. So this is what we would also render as a new month, but it's also an appointed time. Look at the appointed time here.
In the 7th month and the first day of the month shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation.
All right. So he called this a Sabbath. That means no work, right? A memorial of blowing trumpets, right? Keep going.
You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
So then, on the 10th day of the 7th month, which puts us right here, right, it's going to be a day of atonement, right? That's going to be on a Sunday, right? The good thing about this calendar is based off of weeks. So you'll see that some people try to base their calendar off of the moon, right? They'll look at it and say, well, the month starts when you see the first slither of the moon and all that. And when you do that, your days are all over the place, right? Every year is totally different. It never falls on the same day, right? It's all over the place. And then they find themselves after a few years, they have to double up the month of Adar, right? If you look at a lot of these people calendars, when they base it off of the moon, they have to double up the month of Adar. They got to say, they call it Adar 1 and Adar 2. I can't do that because it's like, I don't see that in the book. When you do this by weeks, right, it's almost exact to a year, the cycle of a year, right? Because you got 52 weeks. And with 52 weeks, you almost exactly get to a cycle of the year. As a matter of fact, 52 weeks after 7 years, you'll be off, right? Guess what you have to add to get back on?
1 day.
1 week. So if every 7 years you add a week to your calendar, you back on cycle, right? Now, there's nothing in the book talking about adding a week or a month or anything in the cycle. So that's why I say I ain't gonna say none of these calendars is right. But I know one thing comes from the Most High God and the Most High God only when it comes to our calendars. It's the week, right? Now the day we know comes from the Most High God too, but there's other people that might be able to try to lay claim to that and say, oh no, we started the day, right? The one thing that can't nobody say they started is the week. That's the only thing that comes from the Most High God. So guess what? I like a calendar. Me personally, this ain't got nothing to do with what God commanded or nothing. Me personally, I like a calendar that's based off of the week. Now, when the Most High God come back, he'll set it straight and we'll figure out what calendar is right and how we should reckon time. But this one, I think it keeps it organized. It's a very clean way of looking at it, right? So let's keep going.
Also, the 10th day of the 7th month shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you. And you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
Right? When he say afflict your souls, what does that mean?
Fast.
Fast. So when we get to Day of Atonement, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to fast. Right? Keep going.
For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that does any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even, shall you celebrate your Sabbath.
So now, what did you notice about this? What did you notice that he said differently here?
This one got a judgment on it.
Got a judgment? What else? On the 9th day of the month, what?
You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute throughout your generations, all your dwelling. It shall be a Sabbath of rest, afflict your souls.
He said on the 9th day of the month.
9th day of the month at even, from even to even, shall you celebrate your Sabbath.
This is another one where he's telling us specifically the evening. Right? So he don't say this for all of them. Most of the time, he just say, this is the day. So then we can assume that he's referring to the daylight time. On this one specifically, he's saying, no. He said this starts on the 10th day of the month. You start celebrating it the evening, right? You start on the 9th day of the month at evening. Right? Which means that ends the 9th day of the month, and that brings you to the full 10th day, the calendar day. So this is celebrated the full calendar day. So then when do we start fasting?
At evening, on the 9th.
We look at the 9th. As soon as we see evening coming in, that ends the 9th day, we start fasting.
10th, yeah.
We start the 10th, and we do it from that evening and then the morning. So from evening to the next evening, that's where we're doing it. All right? Very specific. When he called it out the evening specific, we know what he's talking about. If he leave it out, it's okay if we want to assume that he's just talking about the day. Like some people, they look at the Sabbath and they say, well, the Most High God don't say keep the Sabbath from evening to evening. And that's fair, because he don't. He just say Sabbath day. So it's fine to keep the Sabbath just during the daytime, because there's no law to say that that's wrong, right? Me personally, you know what I'm saying? I like to consider the whole calendar day for the Sabbath, just because to me that's just a lot more comfortable. But nevertheless, there's no law. I can't call nobody a sinner according to the law, right? Because that's not what the law don't say nothing about the evening for the Sabbath, right? Keep going.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
All right. So this year that would get us on September 30th, the 15th day of the 7th month. Right. That would be what, a Friday? So it'd be no work. We would want to take that day off. Then the next day is a Sabbath for us, a regular weekly Sabbath for us. So that's 2 days that we rest and we had no work. Then after that, what else?
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you.
Right. So then the 8th day is going to take us to another Friday. Right. That's going to be another holy convocation. So we'll be getting together those 2 Fridays in the daytime again. And then we'll have Sabbath studies as well. Right.
And you shall offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. A burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which you shall give to the Lord, which ye give to the Lord. Also on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep the feast of the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And you shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees.
All right, so you're taking the branches of good trees, right? What else?
Branches of palm trees and the boughs of thick trees and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And you shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths 7 days.
He said we're going to dwell in booths. What is a booth?
Tent.
A tent. Right? So when it comes this year, it's going to be the first time that we actually celebrated in tents. Right? Watch what he said. Keep going.
All that are Israel's born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them up out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord. That's it.
So now that brings us to the end of chapter 23. Again, we had a calendar. If you want to learn more about these, you know what I'm saying, we got a couple details on the website here. I'll kind of show y'all here. So on the taughtedyah.com website, you can go to the appointed time page. All right, on this page, it'll give you the calendar that we use for the rest of this year, which it ain't no point in downloading that one because it's only a couple days left in this year. It's only a week left. But then you got the appointed times of 2022 out there. That'll give you a similar calendar to what we were just looking at. And then a short description of all of the celebrations that's outlined in our law and in the scripture, including what we see in the gospel. So feel free to look at that. If y'all have questions, of course, reach out, let me know. But that is the calendar that we will be going by, y'all willing, going forward, or until he gives us something, you know what I'm saying, more precise and more accurate. Feel free to ask me questions about the calendar. We can go into more detail. I didn't want to nerd out here about it, but we can go into more detail if y'all got questions or suggestions or anything of the sort. Any questions? All right, well, let's pray out.